Hi, you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. Welcome back to another process video for December daily. In this video, I will be working on days 3 and 4. I actually did do days 5 and 6 at the same time, but the video just got too much for my software and for my machine, so I needed to break it up. So you'll be seeing those in hopefully a day or two. Right now, I'm just showing you the photos that I'm going to be working with. So that was actually one 4 by, or one large photo that I took, and then I just split it up into two 6 by 8s because I kind of wanted to do a full spread of that photo. And then I'll be using that craft cardstock on the back of one of those, and also that doily is something that I'm considering using as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. And right off the bat, the first thing that I do is end up punching the holes. And I wish, right after I did it, I wish I hadn't done it. And that's why I end up not doing it on the other photo, because I realized it would have been better for me to adhere the backing, whatever's going to go on the back, to adhere that down first and then do the holes, because nothing ever fits perfectly, and so I'll definitely have to trim some of that stuff coming out. And then what I realize is once I'm doing all these embellishments on top of the photo, it's actually hard to trim out. So hindsight, I wish I had waited to the holes and waited to do the embellishments until I had everything fit together. So you can see that I'm just pulling out some embellishments, um, to put over with the journaling. Now, I'm debating here if I want to add my journaling onto a white piece of cardstock. I did do like a drop shadow on that journaling so that you could read it better. But for some reason, I was feeling like I wanted something there, but the white was just way too much. So I just, in the end, I decide it's not going to work out. So it's not something that I worry about. But it is, even in the very, very end, when I'm 100% complete, I keep looking at this page and feeling like something's missing. Maybe like a washi tape trim or something would help, but I don't know. So I just kept feeling like there was something missing. So that may be something that I go back and add. I'm not 100% sure. So I'm using a tree from last year's 2015 Ali Edwards kit. It was left over. And then that number 3 is also left over from last year's supplies from the Emily Lay kit. So I decided that the gold would go really well, and I definitely wanted to add the tree just because this journaling is all about trimming the tree and how my daughter helped me string the lights, which tends to be the more labor intensive job if you have a real tree, which we do. So I was grateful for her help with that. So that's kind of what the journaling is about. And I put that embellishment back in its case just because I wasn't sure if I'm going to end up using it. I didn't want to lose it. So the next thing I did is I'm bringing over my typewriter. I ended up getting a We Are Memories Keeper typewriter a little while ago, that I've enjoyed playing with. I do have another typewriter actually, but it's so old, I'm not able to find some tape. So I was really happy that I was able to get the typewriter. And I have been playing with it a little bit more and doing some measurements and trying to figure out so I can get the letters right where I want them to be. So if you guys would like to hear more about how I've figured that out, just let me know and I can possibly do a tutorial on that. But it's just really all about testing it and measuring it and all that good stuff. So the other thing that I wanted to do is, and I don't know how come this did not end up in the video, but I did, on that doily, I ended up cutting it in half, and then I put it also through the typewriter and just put wish list. So this spread right now is a wish list of things that I am wishing for this holiday season, and it's not necessarily things that I want to buy, but it's things like sledding and making peppermint cookies and feeling the Christmas spirit and homemade gifts and all those kinds of things. So one thing that I realized on this whole, working with, I guess three wasn't a problem, but four, five, and six, it was all about like, where am I putting the numbers? And when I had thought about doing this page, I hadn't considered where I was going to put the number and I hadn't considered what number I would use. And so I went and got my stash of all my like old Studio Calico stuff and started looking through my alpha stickers because they basically have an alpha sticker with every kit. And so I was just rummaging through there and I found some white ones, but I was really excited to find the small black ones because that is what I ended up using. And I think it looks really good. I just really loved it on the star because it was just really delicate and really small, especially when all the other numbers have been really large. So I was grateful to have been able to find that. So I really liked that. I don't go ahead and do that right now. I decide, because I've learned my lesson, to wait to do the embellishments after I've adhered the cardstock and the photo back to back and done my punching and done my cutting. So it fits pretty good, but there are just a little bits of the edge that I need to trim out. So I go ahead and do that. And you can see how that big embellishment's getting in the way. And then I have to take off my guard to trim that one out. But it was, for all intents and purposes, it did go pretty easy. And then I'm just going to go ahead and punch it out and using that photo as my guide that I've already used to punch. So this side will be complete. And so I just need to finish the other side of the other photo. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I want to do that deer die cut. I'm going to die cut that onto black. And because it's going to be an element that's outside the page protector, I decided that I wanted it to be raised up. So instead of just doing one, I'm going to do 4 layers of this black cardstock. So it's going to give it a lot of dimension, almost like I was lifting it up with like pop dots or foam tape or something like that. But I like it because it's solid. It's a solid image. It's a solid, solid, I guess, a graphic image. And so I really like doing that. So you can see here that I'm using my liquid Tombow Mono adhesive, and I am just putting some dots of glue all over this die and sticking them together. And it's actually quite easy to stick them together. I feel like they sort of fit together like a puzzle. And I really like, I want to do this again. I really actually like how thick it is, and I really love in the end how simple this page ends up being. It's kind of a filler page. It's not a story per se, but I needed to put something on the back, and I didn't have anything that I wanted to add there, so I just did a filler. So that's something that you can do if you have, let's say you have a 6x8, but the story you want to tell for the next day doesn't fit on the 6x8, then you can go ahead and do a filler like this. So I'm sure that I'll end up doing a couple of these along the way just because it's something fun to add to the album. It kind of breaks up the stories and the numbers on each page. So yeah, I like to be able to add little things like that. So now I'm just adhering that onto the paper after I trimmed it up. And like I said, I just really love the graphic look and just how simple it is. Again, that die came from ellenhudson.com. I don't know if it's still available. I imagine it would be. It came out last year. I picked it up last year, but I bet that is something that they would still have available because that's still a pretty popular graphic right now, is the deer, the stag, I mean, however you want to call it. So I'm going ahead and just punching out my holes. And when you're doing something like this, make sure you do it right, because I almost punched it wrong. And then I'm going to go ahead and put that number right onto the star and then add the star to my page. So that's it, you guys, for days 3 and 4, or maybe I should say stories 3 and 4. It was actually quite simple. I think the hardest part was probably just trying to format that photo into 2 6x8s and then maybe, doing the type. Other than that, it went pretty slick. So I hope you guys enjoyed this process. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you would like to see more of my December daily, don't forget to subscribe so you can get the updates. And remember, if you are watching this somewhere in the middle, in the description, I will definitely have a link to the other videos for my other December daily processes. All right, you guys, I will catch you next time. Bye.